It has been very difficult to choose two of my photographs that I consider to be my most technical best and also my most meaningful. With that said, I think I have been able to choose some of, if not the most successful photographs in my opinion. With that said, I will first demonstrate some of the techniques that I've used to accomplish the edits in the following photographs. So in this photograph, we see the Photoshop application open, and you can see here I've created a layer using this leaf photograph, and I've also blurred it. And next what you'll see is I cut out the background so that I could replace the leaves in the background to make it much more interesting, as you can see there. Next I'm going to move over to Lightroom, where I will take a bunch of fine details with the healing brush and just clean up all the spots so it creates a much more seamless image. So I've tried to use vignetting in the past, but I often found that it seemed really obvious and it seemed really harsh. And then I found this technique on YouTube, which you'll see that I'm applying here, where you really scale the vignette using low feathering, and then you double back on that feathering. As you can see here, you remove the feathering and then you decrease the vignetting just so you can get it super accurate. Now it's a very subtle touch, but you can tell with the before and after how it really emphasizes the subject quite a bit. Next we move on to the hue, saturation, luminance panel, and you can see I've toned down the greens, yellows, and oranges, and I've saturated the reds to make the subject really pop. You'll be able to see in the before and after how it really just draws your attention towards the subject. In my opinion, Working Man may be one of my most technically successful photographs, not only because of my success in camera, but also because of how I have edited this photo. From outside my house, I heard the sound of grinding and went outside to look. My dad was grinding away at a bar of rebar, creating amazing sparks flying across the driveway. I ran back inside quickly to retrieve my camera, and I was lucky enough to get this shot. In this photograph, I used a quick shutter speed to capture the flying bits of hot metal, which would have been unsuccessful without the shutter speed. Using the rule of thirds in this image draws your focus towards the subject of the image, the sparks. In editing, I was very proud of how I used the complementary colors of the orange sparks and gloves and contrasted them with the blues of the jeans and the dark shadows. These complementary colors create harmony and a sense of unity within the chaos of the sparks. In Lightroom, I tried something new by using several masks to create the desired effect that I want. I've never done this before. So first you can see that I'm using a subject mask to brighten the image and also make it feel more warm. Then I also painted a mask around the sparks to brighten them up and just make them more vibrant. And then lastly, I used a gradient mask to make it feel way more cool and create those complementary colors that I desired. Overall, I am very proud of this photograph as it depicts a very dramatic scene exactly how I envisioned it, and I was able to execute it very well in camera and while in editing. For a long time in my life, I have strived to become a photographer, and I knew at some point or another it would happen. Being able to finally shoot photos and learn more is something I appreciate so much, and this image represents all of my progress. I captured this photograph while on a drive up north. For me, a lot of the time I just snap photos that I think would look cool, and sometimes they turn out and sometimes they don't. Using my new telephoto lens to capture this shot, as it was far away, I knew it would be a great photo. Taking this photograph, I saw the composition, pointed my camera, and shot. Before even looking at my screen, I knew it would turn out great when I took this photograph. I was very happy with its outcome because I love images with snowfall, and I feel like I got very fortunate to find this vintage sign hanging which matches the theme of the image. I think that this image shows my growth as a photographer because when I see this image it feels like something very professional, and I'm very surprised that it's my photo. I'm very proud of it, and it is now presented in my living room on our television to be seen at all times. Additionally, I think that it looks so good in camera that I tried not to change it too drastically from the original image, only making very subtle adjustments. I plan to take photographs and continue to grow in my skills and knowledge. I want to learn more about why I like to take photos and find new places to visit and capture. I am proud that out of my 9 selected images, only 2 were shot as in-class activities. I think that this shows my eagerness towards photography and enjoyment of just taking photographs. One thing that I look forward to doing is looking back at this assignment in perhaps 3 months, 6 months, a year, and even longer. I am very interested to see my progression from this point in time and being able to look back in the future. For example, some of my favorite photographs from just a few months ago I no longer regard as my absolute best. This project will likely serve as a personal time capsule that I can look back on and be motivated by how much progress I have made.